Hello and welcome back to Coin's Most Valuable channel. Today we're taking a close look at a small but historically rich coin, the 1961 threepence coin from the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. At first glance, it might seem like a humble bit of pocket change, but this coin tells a much bigger story. It's a window into British culture, economics, design, and even politics during a time of great change in the mid-20th century. Let's begin by stepping into the world of 1961. Britain was still recovering from the aftermath of World War II, but there was a sense of optimism in the air. The country was modernizing. Technology was advancing. People were buying televisions and washing machines. There was also a shift happening in society. The old, rigid class structures were loosening. And in the middle of it all, Queen Elizabeth II, still early in her reign, was a symbol of continuity and tradition. At this time, Britain had not yet moved to the decimal system. Instead, the currency system used pounds, shillings, and pence. 1 pound was made up of 20 shillings, and each shilling had 12 pence. That means 1 pound equaled 240 pence. It sounds confusing now, but for people back then, it was second nature. The threepence, also called a threepence or thrup New York bit, was worth 3 old pence, 1/80th of a pound. It had been part of everyday British life for centuries, and by 1961, it was an everyday staple. But the 1961 issue of the threepence is especially interesting. For one, it featured the famous 12-sided design that had become iconic. It was easy to tell apart from other coins, both visually and by feel. That dodecagonal shape, yes, that's the technical term, was introduced in 1937, replacing earlier silver versions of the coin. The new brass version was larger, thicker, and far more practical. By 1961, it was firmly entrenched in the public's daily use. Let's talk about the design. On the obverse, that's the side with the monarch's portrait. You'll see a young Queen Elizabeth II. This portrait was created by sculptor Mary Gillick and is notable for showing the Queen wearing a laurel wreath, rather than a crown. It was a deliberate choice, meant to convey a sense of youth, classical beauty, and continuity with ancient traditions. The inscription around her reads, Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina FD. That's Latin for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. Turn the coin over, and you'll see the reverse design, a Tudor portcullis with chains. This symbol has a long history, and was used as the badge of the Palace of Westminster. The design was created by artist and engraver Percy Metcalfe, who also designed coins for other parts of the Commonwealth. Above the portcullis, it simply reads 3 pence, and below the date, 1961. Now let's talk composition. This coin wasn't silver. In fact, it was made from brass, a mix of about 79% copper, 20% zinc, and 1% nickel. This gave it a golden hue and a decent weight in the hand. It measured about 21 millimeters across and weighed just over 6.8 grams. Though not precious metal, its robust feel and unique look made it stand out. It was durable, inexpensive to produce, and well-suited for everyday handling. As for the mintage, that is, how many were made, the Royal Mint produced over 36 million of these coins in 1961. So they're far from rare. You could still find them in pocket change right up until decimalisation in 1971, when the entire British currency system was overhauled and the old coins were gradually phased out. The threepence didn't survive the transition, and by 1971, it was officially demonetized. Despite being common, these coins hold sentimental value for many collectors and people who lived through that era. For numismatists, that is, coin collectors, the 1961 threepence is part of a series that bridges the gap between traditional coinage and the modern system. It's a symbol of a time when coins were more than just tools for commerce. They were national emblems, miniature works of art, and tangible connections to the crown. And here's something curious. While the coin wasn't rare in circulation, its very shape and design have given it a unique legacy. It was one of the very few 12-sided coins in common use. Interestingly, when the Royal Mint later designed the new 1-pound coin introduced in 2017, they brought back that 12-sided shape, as a nod to the threepence. So what is a 1961 threepence worth today? Well, because it's not rare, a circulated example is typically worth less than a pound, maybe 20 to 50 pence, depending on condition. But in uncirculated or mint condition, it can be worth a few pounds, maybe up to 5 or 10 for a perfect example. For collectors, though, the value often goes beyond money. It's about completing a set, preserving a piece of history, or just enjoying the design and the feel of a coin from a different era. Sometimes, people find these coins in old drawers or tucked away in jars of change inherited from relatives. And when they do, they're often surprised by how solid and well-crafted they are. That's the thing about coins from this era. Even the humble ones were built to last. So the 1961 Elizabeth II Threepence might not make you rich, but it offers something arguably more valuable: a story, a connection to a changing Britain, a memory of Queen Elizabeth II in her early reign, and a glimpse into the pockets of ordinary people going about their lives in the mid-20th century. Thanks for spending time with me today as we explored the story behind this fascinating little coin. If you enjoyed this dive into numismatic history, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you've ever come across one of these coins, or any others you'd like to learn more about. Until next time, keep your eyes open. History is everywhere, even in your pocket.